Jeff, Zach, thanks for joining me.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, we are talking about workers returning to offices. This has been a topic ever since really the COVID, the shutdowns. There's been talk of they're coming back. Are they really coming back? Well, one third of all companies required offices to be in the office 5 days a week in the third quarter, and that's up from 31% in the second quarter, according to Flex Index. So we are still seeing movement towards workers being in the office in this case with a lot of companies full time. I think one of the misnomers out there with the whole remote work thing is it was never so much really remote work as more of kind of people just being part time in and part time out. But that said, we're still continuing to see companies put pressure on workers to be there full time, and this seems to be helping out office occupancy a bit. What are you guys' thoughts here?
I look, we've been talking about this for probably a year that we think um, workers not being in the office was temporary, that the death of office has been greatly exaggerated. What you're finding is companies are reverting back to kind of the way it was pre-COVID. It just takes time. Everything is cyclical, and it takes time to revert. But we've seen this. We've never soured on Office. If anything, the opposite. We think it goes through a renaissance, and we've been kind of bullish on Office. It's just a matter of Office growing up and changing. The opportunity in real estate is finding the right location that's business friendly to support your real estate project and what you want to do with the real estate and the other businesses that will be using that real estate. And then it's making sure that location is in kind of the new area for Office, which is not in city centers or city cores, which are more expensive, but moving out closer to where people live and have some amenities that they enjoy using without feeling like they're overpaying. And so we've strategically been positioning ourselves like that for a while because we felt like there was an opportunity in real estate and specifically in office for us to capitalize where everyone else was fire sailing. We knew people would be going back to the office. And productivity levels are the main thing that we looked at originally. Productivity was way down when people are not in offices. So we knew this was going to change.
Yeah, I might add a little bit to it. I think the idea of office and the way office was is this, big square and cubicles and, a couple offices here or there and some big wig sitting in the corner office is probably a model of yesteryear, maybe, and to some degree it may stay. It's gonna change. I think to some degree, we've also discussed in the past that people are looking for amenity, quote unquote, amenity rich projects. I don't know that I agree with that. I think, through COVID, one of the sides that is come out of this is you've got a lot of businesses that have started businesses that are now growing and looking for office space. Quite honestly, I don't know if they really quite care about the amenities as much as they need the office space, and they're looking for something that is feasible for their budget. I think, thing that this article points out is that there is a return, there is a resurgence in office that was dead, and primarily because the inefficiencies that happen with people working at home. I think office changes. I don't think people are going to be looking, to have as many offices or as much office. I think what people are really looking for are offices that are in really strategic locations that allow them to touch a lot of the population quickly.
Yeah, and I'm just going to throw in for my 2 cents here, or maybe a whole nickel or dime. Um, I think a lot of things have kind of gotten thrown into this topic in a way that isn't really reflective of the truth. Yes, there has been some remote work, which I kind of pointed out is actually in a lot of cases been more hybrid, and that has impacted occupancy. But I think Zach kind of alluded to it. We also have seen a move to the suburbs.
Right.
We also have, and I'm always hammering this, I'm in Silicon Valley outside of San Francisco. We have seen some urban cores deteriorate and just not want to work there, prefer to work elsewhere. And this kind of move to the suburbs, this some urban cores really having a quality of life problems that are
Mhm.
hitting them in a kind of a unique way. This A lot of journalists just roll this all up into the remote work theme,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm going to keep hammering at is that's not really accurate to put it all under remote work, and then to the point in so much as there is a remote work issue. I think all the points Zach brings up are really good points of, you know, you have to have some of the workers come back because it's a productivity hit. And I think, and the place I think it's where it's the biggest productivity hit is young workers. How are you going to train and bring up somebody who's not experienced with him not being or her not being around?
Well, look, I mean, the other side of that too is, I mean, kind of to your point is even Google and, you know, and some of these other, you know, let's just call them the Facebooks, the Metas of the world who have digital platforms, digital policies, training manuals, et cetera, how to do these things are even pushing for their people to come back to the office. And also one other point I just want to add is, like when I said, you know, people are looking for, you know, places that create a lot of opportunity to touch a larger percent of the population. I didn't mean major metropolitan areas. I meant places like where we have office space in Miami Gardens, where you can touch Miami, you can touch, you know, you can touch Fort Lauderdale, West Palm, you know, and other places very, very quickly without being in an urban core.
Yeah, so I think this is good news for some office properties. It does not fix the issue of if you have you're in an urban core where there's flight from it. It doesn't fix the issue. Maybe if you got that balance wrong between people doing more family formation and moving to the suburbs and prefer that. It doesn't fix an issue if you just picked the wrong property. You picked a property that's not well priced or at the high end doesn't have a lot of amenities. If you're kind of stuck in that middle where you're not offering a lot of amenities and you can't compete on price, you might have an issue there. But I think it's good news insofar as where there really was an issue of workers not being in the office.
Yep.
Okay, thanks a lot for the insights, guys. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up. Let us know what we're missing, comment, and visit selectfincap.com and get on our newsletter list and get a look at exclusive commercial real estate investment opportunities in some bargain office property we find in a thriving suburb with workers who want to be there all the time. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.